Welcome, everybody, to Around the Shroom Season 5 check-in, mid-season check-in, excuse me. I'm your host, Dawson, here with my co-host.
I'm Nathan, and I'm ready to see what we have after what a bizarre and crazy season this has been so far. I'm I'm excited to be here. Just excited to be able to talk about the game that we love, the league that we love so much. Just such a great day.
Absolutely. There's been so much that's going on in the league. It feels like I've seen a whole season. I mean, maybe we were just a season too early. Uh, but this feels like the chaos that we expected when the 10 teams are going to join the league. That this is what we thought was going to happen last season. How crazy and how tight all of these one of these conferences is.
Hey,
Just overall,
the other conference is tight, just on the opposite end of the spectrum.
you're right.
So
That it's tied at the bottom in the one Goomba sweepstakes, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Before we do, we got to talk about these presenting partners. And in the last time we had it around the Shroom, it was our business cycle switched up and had some new sponsors. Some of them re-upped this time around. Got some new ones in here. We got to highlight them. Take us down the list of our old presenting partners, and I'll introduce some of those new ones.
yeah, we got our classic, good old faithful, the original one that believed in us. Good old little BJ's. Such a great place to be, hang out over the weekend. We also got some Donkey's Delicious desserts, which pretty delicious, especially in the game. Whenever you're getting a little hungry, getting that little sweet tooth, get some of the Donkey's Delicious desserts.
Got some two new ones jumping into joining our longtime favorites is Bagel Bros. Uh, New for the league, joining us, newly established. I mean, there's been a lot of smoke, and it looks like it looks like a combination of Koopa the Quick and Firebro went ahead and leaned all the way in and just decided to make their own bagel, donut, and just bakery shop altogether. And we're really excited to bring them into the fold. And the one I'm really excited about is another partnership, but this one seems to come out of nowhere, is the Royal Decree. It's a royal clothing collaboration between Peach and King K. Rule.
Hmm.
Really, really incredible stuff to see two totally different fashion, but both royal in their own ways, both really showing off. I mean, I'm really excited to see some of the fits that are going to be shown ahead of this midweek game.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the Royal Decree clothing brand. Sometimes I pass by it whenever I'm in a downtown square, and I just got to say those price tags are way beyond what they pay us here to do some announcing. But um, some great clothes, especially if you can afford it. Head on down and hopefully, probably not wear them out to a game. Might be a little dangerous to do that, but for that nice special date night, Royal Degree has you covered.
Had those box seats. I mean, the GM box has to get filled up somehow. I mean, these are some pretty big stadiums. So, but that takes us to our other sponsors that we have here. Some ones that you've seen before. Toadwood Foundation, of course, one of the longest sponsors we've had in this league with Lil BJ's. McDeuce's, I'm loving Deuce. Bloop's
Mm.
Paint Shop, Wawa Investments. Sounds like they've hit a little bit of a rough patch, if I'm allowed to say, and have downgraded down to just regular sponsors from presenting sponsors. And one new one in Pauline's. Do you have any words to talk about with Pauline's, the new jazz club with New Dog City being a new market that opens up?
Oh man, I gotta say, back when I was a wee little lad, I used to play the trumpet, and man, I wish that I could have ever been half as good as those jazz players. They know how to really set the mood, set the tone, and oh my gosh, don't even get me started on how good the drinks are there. So great place just to vibe and hang out, and love going down there on the weekends, just hanging out with the bros and just listening to some chill jazz.
It's not often that we get mainland sponsors on this Mario Baseball Island that come down and sponsor us, but Pauline's sometimes if you're lucky, whenever you're making your trip out to the mainland to the New Donk City, you might see Pauline with a special performance of her own, stepping out and taking the mic. So if you're lucky, make sure to get down there, and proud to welcome Pauline's to our sponsor list. But with that being said, I think it's time that we move on to our second segment of a great section that we have.
Bringing it back, we got the season 5 meme review. Oh man, boy, do we have a lot of these to go through. But all I can say is they are pretty great this time around.
We got some bangers here, absolutely. We got our first open submission here, and there's just a lot of just accuracy here. Never forget when Mayhem came out like this against the Jazz in Game 4, 10-0. There's a lot of smoke that Mayhem was going to come beat Jazz, and that did not happen.
Yeah. There's a lot of GM chatter going around. I think along those same lines. One of my favorite on here is the superstars trying to hunt down the fraudulent 3-1 allegations. There's been a lot of chatter around the league about whether they're actually a 3-1 team right now. And while the record says so, a lot of people are questioning it, and they're trying to prove them wrong right now.
Yeah. They also might be hunting the other 3-1 teams to call them fraudulent, as there is a 3-1 team who has lost to Fury, which is a little weird, but we'll see who's the Terminator and who's the child hiding under the disc very soon.
Yeah, well, moving on to our next page. These are some pretty good ones here. I think the first one that sticks out to me is the Fury ready to push the button, and then Yellow Shy Guy coming in to save the day and showing up against the Royals.
So we won't talk about how in this graphic Yellow Shy Guy threw Dixie Kong directly underneath the bus to make this happen, but I think Fury was willing to make that call to be saved any day. So, but I'm a big fan of that bottom left one there, the beating a mid team with the terrible roster. Golden Blocks and Fury going to work this one.
Yeah, they really they have some similar characteristics, blowing up and then turning around and beating a middle of the pack team, and potentially both affecting playoff chances. A Golden Blocks win could affect the Dreamboat later down the line.
If Dreamboat don't make playoffs, this is just 1-for-1. That's just the same. That's the same image.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on to our third page of meme review. One of my favorites. Usually you see the 3 heads up there, but in the case of the Chill Guys, there's only 2 heads.
There's only 2 heads of this Hydra. It's a 2-horse race, and one horse is way in front of the other horse.
Oh man.
Is that Fire Bro and Old Reliable?
That's Fire Bro. Fire Bro knocking a 10 in a game and Old Reliable. So, granted, he did good this last game. Give him that. Maybe the league jumping the gun a little bit on this meme, but still pretty relevant meme, I would say, considering how he performed on the Fallout Boys.
Poor Green Kamek. Poor Green Kamek.
Yeah, Green Kamek being passed around right now. Some might find it similar to a certain color.
What?
Anyway.
Let's move on.
Here's our 4th page of meme review.
That divorce Silver, that's tough. He just hate those top 30 picks. They just can't stand them.
They just want to buy all in every single season. So, and that's what they're doing right now. Hater conference is a kind of a war zone right now.
That hater conference is something else.
Yeah, it's not looking good over there, but live by the hate, die by the hate.
Yeah, that bottom right one. That.
Some people still believe, and you know what? you know what? Just like the Cowboys, they can keep believing every year. They they're gonna keep their hopes up, I guess. So
I think it's so that'll do it for meme review. What was your favorite meme in the review so far? If you had to go back and pick one, which one was your favorite?
oh man, there's so many, but I think I had to pick this Fury ready to push the button and yellow shy guy coming in and saving the day. I think this is probably one of my favorite ones just because it's so relevant right now, but I don't know if it'll actually play an impact. But what about you? Which one do you think is your favorite?
I think that the Greek Havoc one. As much as my second favorite is the superstars hunting the fraudulent 3-1 allegations, but that Greek Havoc just being dropped after, in some cases, not even a game playing with their team. It's hard. It's hard to get into a rhythm in that way, but
Yeah, just getting passed around. I mean, I mean, at least he can say he has a pretty good history of playing on each team. You know, he is I guess in a sense, a wanted man, but also maybe an unwanted man. So
this is he's gonna get a ring with somebody if one of these teams wins. So he's gonna try to play for everybody, get a ring some way somehow.
All right, moving on to our next segment. We have our July 6th eruption. So I don't think we actually ever talked about this, about all of the trades that went down on July 6th.
This is our first around the Shroom session since then. And I know people are anxious to be able to just hear somebody talk about this. There's been a little bit of some stuff from the Around the Shroom, just from our magazine and stuff that gets published in the newspaper that we send out, or whatever we're posted. But actually letting us have a chance to talk about it, discuss it, I think people are really anxious to hear that. And I don't see anywhere else to start than the trade that kicked off this crazy day.
Yeah, the Hammer Bro and Fire Bro sell off that everyone felt was pretty imminent. It was coming, and everyone kind of saw the fallout moving. GM Brandon was very open that he had the Bros on the block, and he pulled out a pretty good hat trick here, giving them away for quite a haul of picks to both the Titans and Heat. So mayhem mayhem showed up in some kind of way. Anyway,
They always do.
Yeah, so I guess just to recap the trade, Titans get Hammer Bro, and the Heat second round. Heat get Fire Bro, Blue Toad. They get Skylar and the Fallout fifth round, and then Fallout gets Goomba Surhash and the biggest haul probably in the league history of a Heat first and third, and a Titans first and third, and Light Blue Yoshi. So,
yeah, they it's easy to say they won, but it's hard to ever feel great about a season the way the season goes whenever you trade off two of your biggest pieces. But this is the way that you're going to do it, is that you got incredible value by not trading them just to one team, but trading them to two teams to make this happen. So for Fallout, I mean, you got everything you wanted. We're not sure yet what the depth of this draft is going to look like. We know the big draft is coming in not next season, but the season after. So this draft is still up in the air about what that's going to happen. But with all of the trades that have happened, that so much depth has ended up on specific teams, and you have three teams that have very little depth, it means these players are going to have to hit the board, that they can't keep all these players, most notably looking at Titans, who have a ton of talent, looking at Jazz, who have a ton of talent. So it's going to be interesting how they're able to navigate, but your life certainly gets a lot easier to rebuild when you have three firsts. So, but the roster is so weak that, I mean, they're almost building from scratch at this point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is affecting the Fallout trajectory for the next few seasons, as we know. I think, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's going to be interesting whenever the league potentially looks at, or maybe even opens up trading picks from multiple seasons in advance. Um, that could definitely change some of how these trades go. But Fallout, I mean, they are looking to rebuild, and they are. I mean, this alone is just a huge stepping stone there. And I think Fallout Boys are definitely gonna have something going into the next season because there are gonna be, I think, a lot of players on that or on that draft board with so much of the talent on very few teams. I mean, you look at it just as an example. I mean, you have Jazz right now who have uh, King K, PD, Bowser, and King Boo, who have all been playing great. I mean, two of those guys are gonna have to go to the draft. So, just as an example, I mean, Fallout could be set to have a pretty decent starting hand next season.
Certainly, with the way the Titans have suddenly started slipping, and I mean that first game. I mean this trade was triggered by a loss that I mean to the superstars that they didn't think, or excuse me, not the superstars. Whoever they lost to, I forget who they lose to. They lost to the Heat, so
The
that they
Heat,
had to
yeah.
make a change to go ahead of the game against the superstars, and then it clearly didn't work, or at least not to the degree they wanted it to. So Fallout Boys are just sitting here hoping these teams both start slipping and falling. I mean, this is going to be hope these picks become more and more valuable. I mean, you could be staring at a situation where if this goes completely sideways for the Titans, that this is suddenly a second lottery pick, and that's scary for the rest of the league. If this past season's draft was any indication, that multiple picks in the lottery usually bodes very well for the team. So
Yeah. Well, with that said, who do you think are the winners and losers of this trade?
I think it's pretty easy to say Fall Out Boys are the winner. We didn't really
Uh,
talk about it very much, but Heat getting Blue Toad from the Titans for a second, holy overpay. But like that's craziness that they're able to get a Blue Toad, especially how valuable Toads are right now. It's I guess less surprising that it cost a second, but that just seems when you already don't are giving up a first and a third, suddenly you go from having three first round pick or three picks in the first three rounds to no picks in the first three rounds in one trade. Even with as problematic of a as a player as Firebro is, it's so difficult to be able to say that you want to trade like this. Even if, I mean, the only way that you could say that they're a winner is if they win in season 5. If they don't win the whole thing, uh oh.
this is yeah. This is their all in, right? And I mean, ultimately, I can't say that they're a loser yet, especially after what we saw. I mean, they're if they drop another game this season, I think that immediately they become a loser. But like, I mean, we saw their dominance, right? We saw what happens, and uh, I mean, it's hard to say. I think he is probably the loser if any of these three of this trade. But definitely still have yet to see if those results are going to be play out in the way that we expect.
You had a good game from Firebro, so we'll say that they're the third of the three in this order. That certainly Fall Out Boys is the biggest winner. That second round pick with Hammer Bro certainly eases the pain a little bit for the Titans. So I think that's probably a good 1, 2, 3 order of the pack, where it still remains to be seen if the Heat are a winner in this trade or not, or if the Titans end up hurting from that losing Blue Toad more than they expected to. But I think that's a good. Would you agree with this order of winners at the moment?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think Slug and Heat is definitely the ones that overpaid the most, but I mean they have a championship caliber team out of it, so kind
Hard
of
to be terribly
yeah.
angry at that.
Yeah.
Jumping into the second trade, did you have any final thoughts on that last trade?
No, I think that was it. Yeah, I mean the second trade, I think this is I mean this is just a sell-off trade by the Golden Blocks, the start of the chain of sells. So you get Jazz, who end up with Yellow Kamek. I will not say his nickname around the league. They get Yellow Kamek and Blooper of all people, and they get a fourth round from the Golden Blocks. But they do pay a third round. They give them Ron and Bruce. So yeah, take it as you will. This is a little bit of an interesting trade, in my opinion, because of the blooper. I don't fully understand that, but I think getting Yellow Kamek is a pretty huge pickup for them to lock down that middle infield.
Blooper is a big chemistry connecting piece for this Jazz team, and the Yellow Kamek is such a big deal when it comes to middle infield defense that I think I can pretty easily say that the Jazz are a big winner in this. And all you had to do was pick swap, and you're just. I mean, we could be looking at a situation: Golden Blocks are last, Jazz are first, and this pick is literally just one spot switch. So a 3-10 versus a 4-1, like that's how similar this pick could be.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at what they gave up versus what they got. I feel like Golden Blocks got fleeced in this trade. Like
I think so too. I think I would have liked Golden Blocks to take a second rounder and not have taken Ron and Bruce, you know? Or, maybe they just take Bruce, or maybe they just take Ron and then also that second rounder. I feel like throwing Ron and Bruce in there were like a way of Jazz trying to get away with the third, and they definitely got away with it. And I think the value they got back for it was way better than what they gave up. So,
I mean, like you said, this is a rebuild, so maybe they didn't really care what they got, that they just wanted to try to put together an interesting team, I guess. But certainly Yellow Kamek was worth more than. I mean, I could see Yellow Kamek being. You take Blooper out of this altogether, and that's still is in. You're still not getting enough value back in Ron, Bruce, in the third. So I don't know. I think the Jazz continues. I don't think the Jazz are going to. This whole list is going to be all out winners, if you ask me. But this continues a trend of Jazz doing very well in the trade category. So
yeah. I, I mean, curious to see if they make any more trades, because at this point, you look at their roster and think that they're pretty complete on through. I mean, they made a trade later on in this, but I'm talking about moving forward in the season if they're going to make a trade later on.
certainly.
Well, moving into the next trade, not sure what's going on here. Mayhem continues their bad trading tendencies.
You skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fury and Golden Blocks. Sorry, I just saw Golden Blocks and immediately skipped down. Yeah, so Fury, they go get Toad. They give up Crawdaddy and Hurley, and they get they give up their fourth rounder. The way I look at this trade is Fury gave up a fourth rounder for Toad. That's, simply put, just the way I see it. Which in this case, you saw Blue Toad go for a second earlier. I think this is a pretty fair trade, all in all.
I think you could look at the two me's and say that, hey, it's a three for one, but those me's aren't being kept by either of these two teams. And very quickly you saw Fury completely just build a completely different outfield by bringing Baby Peach up off the bench. So these players were going to get benched regardless of if once Toad got acquired. So I don't mind the double purple me flying away to Golden Blocks. I just feel like this is just adequate value. Fury got what they wanted. Golden Blocks got a fourth. Maybe could have tried to ferret a third out of them, but I don't want to get too greedy and not be able to make a trade happen, I guess. But I don't know. I feel pretty good about saying Fury is a winner and that they got what they wanted. They immediately won a game. So with as crazy as the league has been, how valuable wins are. So
yeah, I think Fury is the winner of this. Golden Blocks isn't necessarily a loser in this case. I think that they definitely probably could have bargained with Fury a little more and gotten a third rounder, but like you said, they're probably just worried about the picks. They're not worried about where they are exactly or value. So I think Golden Blocks isn't necessarily a loser here. I do think that they lost compared to Fury, but still not a loser.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them a loser. I mean, it's kind of similar to Heat, where it's not even that it remains to be seen. It's just they're not winners to the same degree that Fury is, just because you didn't get as much value. If you got a third, I think I'd put you over Fury just as overpay. But this feels adequate. It just feels. I mean, it just feels like they're both just making a deal that works, kind of working on the periphery, working on the margins. So
yeah. All right, now moving on to the Golden Blocks, the Mayhem trade. Uh, not really sure what the Mayhem were thinking here. They go get Baby Luigi, the worst baby in the league, and they paid a 6-rounder for him. And Mayo, they paid a me and a 6-rounder for Baby Luigi.
it's not even it's a green me, so that's a decently valuable me as well.
Yeah, like a Kim piece me that is pretty highly sought after.
This is just bad process, I think, for Mayhem. I mean, this is.
I just don't understand it. What does Baby Luigi bring that you didn't already have in the me?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe that you're looking for one of those pieces to go lead your team into the Goomba hunt. I mean, maybe that's what you're looking for, but it just seems just overall just disappointing that you had to spend so much just for nothing. Like, if this was one of those like pick swaps that we've seen the Golden Blocks do, like maybe it would have made more sense. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This was a player that was picked in the 9th round. Was it? Was it not?
I believe so, but
I'm just kind of lost. I'm just at a loss with why. No, I'm sorry. This was a player that was picked quite early in the 4th round because of the magic wheel. So, excuse me.
Oh, right. So by happenstance, he got picked in the 4th.
Uh-huh.
Got it.
Oh, so that's a steal is what we should be saying.
Yeah, sure. Baby Luigi, honestly, in the past 2 seasons has been pretty high for his rating, but that is in no way indicative that he should be going for both a me and a 6-rounder. So
6-rounder already is craziness. So, I mean, even though this is a margin move for most teams, maybe not, man. I don't. This is just such a huge win for Golden Blocks just to go get coupon value out of Baby Luigi. So, but I gotta give Golden Blocks credit when I can, because we're very quickly gonna get to situation. They're the next trade that we talk about where I'm going to be absolutely very, very harsh on Golden Blocks. So I think giving them the props where I can in a trade like this, I think that's just what we got to do before we move on to a trade that is going to be quite painful, I think.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. We got Royals. They get Red Pianta, and then Golden Blocks get a green Kamek, and they get the Royals 4th rounder. So what are your initial thoughts here?
So the Royals are the 8th team to join the party, and go make a trade happen. This is the first of the 2 that they make on the July 6th eruption. This is, I mean, you could argue all day that green Kamek is like just how we discussed with yellow Kamek, how valuable Kameks are, and that you also put a 4th with that to add additional value to go get Red Pianta. Red Pianta, despite what the wheel will tell you, is a bona fide bottom of the 1st round, top of the 2nd round talent. Kameks at their most valuable is a early 3rd round, and maybe even mid to late 3rd rounder. So I just can't believe Red Pianta didn't get traded for a second, at least a second. Like Green Kamek in a second would have made sense. Green Kamek in a fourth, I don't understand how all of this talent is on your team, and we're in a situation where you only got a fourth, and a third and a trade up. Like, how is Fallout able to get 3 firsts and three thirds in this draft or coming up draft, and you got 1 pick in the top 3 rounds?
Yeah.
This was your prime piece. This was the key piece. I have it on good authority that there was a offer for a second rounder on the table that they said no to.
Yeah, I find it pretty crazy. I mean, I agree. I think it's like I'm just more confused by the Green Kamek pickup. That's what makes me most confused here. And maybe this is a Green Kamek so that they can go trade him for another pick. But you could have just gotten that, like you said, in Red Pianta, in a second rounder, or maybe a third and a fifth or something like that. Even if you're not getting a top 16 or top 20 pick, you're getting value picks later on that you can then use to trade for even more value later on. So I think the Green Kamek is the biggest point in this. And why did you trade for Green Kamek when you're trying to sell the season? But I mean, like you said, I think that they're losers here. I think they could have gotten more for Red Pianta, and then built better next season, rather than trying to stick around for this season with Green Kamek. So,
I mean, the last thing I'll say about the getting Green Kamek specifically for Golden Blocks is like you said, I expected them to flip Green Kamek, and like if you could go pick up Green Kamek and a pick, sure, flip Green Kamek again. Because obviously the Royals were ready to part with the green chemistry altogether, as you'll see again later on in this draft. So this was part of a bigger play for the Royals, but just the Golden Blocks. I mean, the other half of it is, you can't even get too frustrated with them because they went and won a game like immediately after this. Like oh, big sell off, and then they won. Like that's what just makes this so confusing. And they couldn't have done it without Green Kamek. But it would have been a whole lot easier if they just had Red Pianta, if they had the players on the team already. So that's what makes this so bizarre. But Royals, I do want to talk about Royals briefly. Just this is a very good pickup. Especially, this is incredible value for Red Pianta, there is a decent chance that you're going to see Red Pianta on this team again next season. So paying so little and still being able to protect a top pick. I believe the Royals still have 2 firsts through some of the trades that they've made. I mean, this is just good business. I mean, this is great business for a team that is going to struggle to compete in such a brutal season just outside of their own control. But, I mean, this is how you succeed. This is how you get in your niche and thrive. So, big ups to the Royals in this trade because I think I said fleece before. I try to be sparingly about it, but you're just running away with this one.
Yeah, I mean, Royals definitely won this by a long shot. I mean, it is, you really can't put it into words like what this means for the season because I think, like you said, like this now elevates their level, and brings them up to a level that can actually compete with the other players. So, I definitely think Royals won this. I think that they got away with, in a sense, like you said, fleecing the Golden Blocks. So,
tell me about that 6th trade. This is the second 3-team trade of the 3 that we saw on this day.
Yeah, this is Dreamboat getting Green Dry Bones. They get a 7th rounder from Mayhem. Mayhem then turns around and gets Dixie Kong, Mike Toad, and Dreamboat 2nd. And you may be asking, well, where did that Dixie Kong come from? And that's because in the same trade, it was Dreamboat traded Yellow Shy Guy for Dixie Kong. So Fury gets the Yellow Shy Guy out of all this. So yeah, I'll just start.
Lord and Savior, apparently.
According to the to what we saw on our memes, yeah. So But with that said, the starting from left to right, like I said, Dreamboat, they get green dry bones, which aligns a little bit with their green kin, and they get a Mayhem 7th. More is just compensation for what they did give up, and in which case they gave up a second rounder and essentially gave up Yellow Shy Guy at the end of it. So, yeah, I mean, my initial thoughts are Dreamboat improves their hitting potential. Uh, they make it a little bit better, a little bit more consistent offense, but they gave up a second rounder, which is maybe a little bit of an overpay uh, for Green Dry Bones.
I mean, I feel like it's adequate. It's a very buy now move for a team that needs to buy in to win. Last season was the best season that they ever had, and you're on. I mean, there's not a lot of runway left for this Birdo led team. I mean, you're at the midpoint of a Birdo captaincy. You're certainly going to see Birdo come back next season, but there's not a total guarantee that next season's going to be any better, especially with there's some rumblings of a conference realignment. The teams below you couldn't be lower. The team above you, I mean, you lost to them by 1 the last time you played them. This is, in my book, Dreamboat's best shot that they have ever had to go win the conference. Them going all in, it makes total sense to me. And this is, I mean, this is the best at the time. This was the best hitter in the entire league, average-wise, with, like you said, the power potential. I really like this trade, especially whenever you look at you gave up a me, granted, a very good pitching me, but a me, a second rounder, and a bench player in Yellow Shy Guy. I really like this trade for Dreamboat. I think this is the right time to go buy now, and it's not a first round pick. It's just a second in a season where you expect that not to be a lottery pick, or not a top 6 pick that you expect to be in the semifinals. I mean, it's just feels good. It feels like they're doing the right thing to be a contender in this league.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm not saying that that this is by any means a bad trade. I just think that, if this was any other season or if this was any other team, I think the second round pick might be a little bit of an overpay. But I do definitely think Dreamboat won this trade, and they got what they wanted out of it. Mayhem, they change up their chemistry style a little bit. They're going for more of the pink chemistry here, giving up the or trying to fit in their pink Yoshi that they had on their roster. And they get a second rounder for this. So I don't necessarily hate this.
I'm shocked they're sold green dry bones in the first place. I thought this was going to be a fixture going into next season, but I mean, now you have a second pick, and this is the second rounder they have. So suddenly you're looking at a team with a first rounder, 3 seconds, and a and a third from a team who last season didn't have any picks for a long time. I believe in the third or fourth round, I believe 2 picks in the third or something like that. So, I mean, this is showing that they're just flipping the other direction. So, the Dixie Kong matters a little bit less. I mean, that's a starter. They got 2 starters and traded a 7th and a green dry bones. So I don't think you can call them winners to the same degree Dreamboat is, but that second rounder moves me. I like what I'm seeing from Mayhem. There's been some suspect moves. This one wasn't one of them. I really actually like this for Mayhem.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that there's still winners here. I think maybe Dreamboat definitely won a little bit more, but still winners in my book. And Fury, the last one of this trade sequence. Some have been talking around the league and saying that there may be a little bit of a certain type of person in the bedroom. But
what? What do you mean?
Anyway, so yeah, Fury, they get Yellow Shy Guy, they give up Dixie Kong, so separating the Kongs a little bit. But maybe for the better. They improve their middle infield. They get a okay hitter. I mean, wouldn't say that Yellow Shy Guy is the most consistent hitter, but definitely helps improve, both sides of the ball. Maybe not improves, but improves the offense. But still solid, still able to get the job done. So
Yeah, I mean,
Fury
yeah,
won,
yeah.
but not by a lot.
I would understand the sentiment that Fury was the lowest winners of that. I don't know if I would all the way agree, but I certainly can understand the sentiment. I think that you're just looking at a team that went from the worst infield in the DSA to a serviceable infield in the DSA. So I, I mean, they still may be bottom three, but they aren't 10th anymore. So I mean, I like this trade just as good business. I mean, Dixie Kong was hitting, I believe she was hitting 200 at the time of the trade. So a new environment may do some wonders for her with Mayhem. It is disappointing to see the Kongs broken up like this, but as defense goes, we've seen how middle infield defense literally can make or break a team. See season two Peter and countless other examples. So I don't know. I feel Fury was fine in this trade. It's not like they gave up a pick or anything, so I think that kind of eases the palate. If a pick had to go to make this trade happen, I think that would have been really. I would have sent me into the loser category, even if it
Yeah.
was a thing that had to be done. But only trading away a underperforming Dixie Kong, severely underperforming Dixie Kong, for a flyer and Yellow Shy Guy who was riding bench up until this point. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I agree. I think all three of these teams won in their own right in this trade, but I think the order that you have them there is pretty respectable. So
We spent a lot of time on kind of a weak trade. I mean, it was a little better than the last. It was better than the fourth pick trade, but this seventh one, maybe we should try to speed through this one because this one is there's not a lot happening here.
yeah, yeah. There's not much going on. I think this is more just a chemistry change. Um, trying to fix some chems on each one of these teams, and I think that's completely fine for all of these teams here. I think that they all kind of came out okay. I think Mayhem definitely probably the worst of the bunch in this situation.
I'll run through the trade real quick.
We got so Jazz gets Koopa Quick and the Green Me James. Mayhem gets their Koopa Flag, Lime Mat, and then Royals they get Red Paratrooper.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at each Jazz getting James, I feel like that's kind of a symbolic thing for them. And getting the Koopa swap again. That's the second time these Koopas have swapped teams. So back to the teams they got drafted by. A little strange, but hey, whatever works. Line Matt coming home to Mayhem. I know that was big fanfare that Mayhem was able to make that happen. And
Yeah,
Royals getting Red Paratrooper to solidify their perfectly red Kim. So the second season in a row we've seen perfect red Kim. We'll see. Already the Royals have more wins, so the results may speak for themselves, I guess. But I don't think that either of these teams are really winners or losers since no picks were swapped, and none of these players are going to be kept most likely. So I think it's
yeah.
fair to say that all of them are just if you think one of these teams won more than the other, put them all kind of in whatever order you think.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest winners are going to be, or like the of these three, is probably going to be mm, probably Jazz. I think that they just help their roster. They have Bowser to pair with them with Koopa, so I think that they probably won this if any of the three. And then maybe Royals and then Mayhem because I don't feel like Mayhem was really at this point, if you will, fighting for anything specific. So.
Well, they're not really losers anyway. They're just kind of all here in
Yeah.
the middle. But like, I gotta see if all of these players are starting on these rosters. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Red Paratroopa's starting, and Koopa and James is starting, and Koopa Flag is not starting actually,
Oh.
so that's bizarre. And neither is Matt the Lime Me has replaced Bug Germ. So
Right.
hey,
No.
I mean, it just I agree with you fully now since you've got two starters, one starter, and one of two starters. So I'm good with that.
Yeah.
The final thing I want to ask as we finish this segment is who's the biggest winner and who's the biggest loser in your mind?
Of all this, oh, I think the biggest loser is probably Golden Blocks of all people. I don't know. I go back and forth between Mayhem and Golden Blocks. Actually, no, I think Mayhem. Mayhem has to be the biggest loser here. Um, I think going for Baba Kugi and giving up a sixth in Mayo is just something you cannot overlook. Um, I think the biggest winners are probably Fallout. I think that they got some pretty ample compensation for the bros, and I think that they're going to see that pay off next season, especially with how good the draft is going to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, Fallout, I agree. I'll actually lean Golden Blocks just because I think the missing out on a first round talent is much more egregious. And even like the Toad pick, they could have done better. I mean, it feels like these two teams that are can't decide if they want to tank or not, or if they did tank, they didn't maximize value. Maybe that doesn't matter. We're talking about optimal decisions and all of that, and they're just trying to get trades off, and that's the first thing that comes to them, and they say yes. So it
Yeah.
just feels weird. It doesn't
No,
feel like
I
these teams
agree.
are committing to the to the
And kind
tank.
of to your point is Golden Blocks, they sold off and didn't get a single pick in the first two rounds. So yeah, I think I definitely could lean more Golden Blocks. I think I go back and forth with both of those teams right now.
Well,
So.
they both have some wins, they both have some losses, but they're also really the only two teams in the loser side. So, but
Yeah.
well, it's time. We're back. We're tier listing once again.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
up top. You see where we are in the overall standings, how everything has been shaken out after 4 weeks of games. Uh, yeah, and we're just gonna talk about this postseason race. I'll break us down our segments, and then we'll talk about them. But in that first year, we have the conference champions between the haters and chill guys. We have our contenders, so say in the 3 and the 4 seeds. Got those dark horses. Actually, 3, 4, 5 dark horses who are going to come in there and squeak into the playoffs. Some pretenders, so maybe one of those teams that feel like they were thought to make the playoffs pretty easily are going to be that team that gets left out. And whoever those teams are, they're in the Goomba 1-1 sweepstakes. And you know who you are out there. You know who you are.
Yeah, well, let's dive right in. Conference champions, I think, is probably pretty easy at this point. I think it's just the top two teams, it's Slug and Heat and Jazz. Both of those teams have been rising to the occasion, and that's kind of what matters. I think, there are arguments that Jazz might end up losing the conference, but as of right now, they are proving that they are the team to beat for the chill guys. And haters, same thing. Slug and Heat is the team to beat. So.
I couldn't agree more. Heat, we could have a discussion about Heat, but Jazz, I think it's pretty easily the Jazz. I mean, you look at the way that Heat have been just running away. I mean, their next closest uh, next closest person who even has double digits in run differential is Jazz, and it's 11 run difference. The only other 3-1 team in their conference has a run differential 22 less than them. So. I mean, this week will decide
Yeah.
that. I mean, superstars could come shock the world for the third straight week. So it's why you will see me put them in another category here. But for now, I certainly believe in the conference champions. But
Well, who do you put in that contender category right there behind them?
well, in that contender category, well, actually, I'm gonna do it a little differently. I'm gonna go look at the haters, and we'll go just right to left, and we'll just put them where they need to go. And then if we need to adjust the list, we can do that. So maybe let's start with the chill guys. Chill guys seems a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Let's look at the golden blocks. I think that they're in the Goomba 1-1 sweepstakes.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think if I'm being honest, I think 3 of the 4 chill guys left are in the Goomba sweepstakes. I mean, I think it's pretty clear which ones are the bottom teams. I mean, you could almost argue that I guess Mayhem could be a pretender, but I don't know. Fall Out Boys, I think they're also in Goomba 1-1 sweepstakes. We've seen that. So
I think they're the leader of the Goomba 1-1 sweepstakes, but this is where I may catch some flack because I actually think that you're looking at Mayhem as a dark horse candidate to make the playoffs.
Oh, okay. So this is just making the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Well,
dark horse candidate. I mean, I can't necessarily agree, but I can see where maybe you're making a case. I just don't see the vision.
Well, that's the thing is we may have talked some smack for a little bit against them, but their schedule just is it's just so favorable. Like somebody has to win these games against Fallout and Dreamboat, and they still have so many of those matchups to go. And they certainly they play Fallout Boys in week 5, and week 6 they get Dreamboat, which is apparently a gettable game. Of course they get Jazz, but their cross conference is the Royals, who many are saying is the weakest hater. So it's not like they have a murderer's row against them. And that's not even mentioning another Fallout Boys game they have. So assume they win these games against Blocks and Boys. I mean, that's 3 more wins that they're going to have. And suddenly they're a 4-win team in this league. I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But I totally understand them being in the Goomba 1-1 sweepstakes. I just think they're going to win too many games that they're going to play their way out of it.
Yeah, I think if anything, I would just put them in pretenders of just pretending, that they're going to get there. I mean, I honestly think that's like the middle ground, right? It's, I don't think that they're going to have any kind of talk, but I think that they could definitely, they could see themselves there. But I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it's like you said, they do have a pretty easy schedule. They just have to try to beat Dreamboat or Jazz one time, and they should be in. But it's just going to be hard to do that. So
I'll pick this Dreamboat team is the pretender. This is actually what I made this entire graphic for, this entire side. I can be swayed, but the way that they just lost that last game to the Golden Blocks, this does not feel like a team that we once put in the contender category.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely understand that, but I think if you look at their roster from top to bottom, I think comparing it to Mayhem, Fallout Boys, and Golden Blocks it's better than all 3 of those teams. If for example Fury is to define anything, one game does not mean your entire season is going to go that way. So that is just, I guess, my only argument about Dreamboat being in pretenders. I definitely think that they're more of a dark horse, if you will. But I can understand that a loss to the Golden Blocks, especially after they made those, that sell off is not a good look for them. But I don't think there's any way for them not to find their way back into the win column, especially in the next game against Fury. So,
well, I would argue that with their matchups against Fury and Heat, that's not an exciting prospect, since they'll have to play Jazz again. And if it curves left, then suddenly this is a team that is, I mean, you're looking at a team that's 2-5 before they've even gotten, I mean, they will have other wins in there, but before even considering that's a team that's at best 5-5. So, and then suddenly one Mayhem win, and all of a sudden Mayhem are in the playoffs. So, but
true.
I'm okay with this at the moment. Jumping up to the haters, I think we kicked them here for a reason. We waited till last to try to decipher this.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy.
How real is the possibility that there are all five haters make the playoffs?
I definitely can see a world where that happens. But I'm not quite convinced. I'm not quite convinced yet. I think we might have some questionable ones among us. I think the Royals and Superstars being the ones that kind of come to mind there. Not saying that those teams are necessarily bad, but I can definitely see a situation where Royals and Superstars drop one too many games for the rest of the season and end up being, missing the playoffs.
So start with Titans. Where do you put them?
I think Titans are a good contender. I think they dropped the last two games, which isn't a good look. But I think that they'll be fine. I think that they'll bounce back. They have plenty of talent on their roster, and I think that they'll be completely fine moving forward.
That's fair enough. How about the? Well, I think we have to just go to the Superstars now. I think something I have to bring up is that they're 3-1 already. There's a lot to be said about that at this point in the season to already have 3 wins under your belt.
Yeah.
Realistically, you only need, say, like 2 more. In 6 games, 2 out of 6 really isn't bad, especially for a team that I believe has Golden. Oh, who do they have? They have the Fallout Boys on their schedule as a cross conference. So, I mean, suddenly you're looking at only needing 1 win out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's true. I just think it's going to be hard with the competition that they do have to play there. Um, having to go play, Slugging Heat, Toadstool, and Fury, is just tough. I think that their best chance is to win against the Royals.
Well, they proved they've already done it once. I mean, you could be looking at the Superstars and Jazz as 4-1 teams after this, and that would be uncomfortable, to say
That's
the
true.
least. So
That's true.
it sounds like you want to put them more in the dark horses to pretenders category.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think maybe contenders is fine with me.
Would you put? Well, we'll come back. We'll go with Royals. Are they still, despite that loss? It was an ugly loss. I mean, they have the second worst run differential at -15. Are they still? I mean, how do you feel about them at this point?
Yeah, I think that run differential is maybe a little bit more indicative of the teams that they've had to play rather than their actual talent. I think Royals are going to be more of the dark horse in this case. I just don't think that they're going to be up there in the contenders yet. I want to see them kind of like, I guess in a sense, prove themselves in one more game. And I don't think that you can put them up above the Superstars right now, just because the Superstars are sitting at a 3-1, like you said. They already have that advantage. And the Royals being so far behind in run differential means that they're going to have to do a lot of work if it comes down to a tie. So,
I tend to agree just with a bad rough run differential. And they don't seem like one of those lineup in a season that already doesn't have a whole lot of offensive explosions, or at least not hasn't yet. It's hard to see this team specifically be able to rack up enough points to even get positive at this point. So, I mean, I like dark horses, but I can see them falling, not even making the playoffs if it gets to that level. But I still have hope in the Royals. I think it's a tough week when you go up against what we're about to talk about, the most volatile team in this whole league right now. So I'm okay with dark horses for the moment.
Yeah.
Talk about them. I don't even know
Fury.
where to start.
Yeah, they go back and forth each week. They just cannot decide what type of team they want to be. Um, I think for me, Fury is probably more the contender. I
Really?
think I don't know. I like I said, I go back and forth each week. I just think that you can't bet on a DK team missing the playoffs, especially when they've been in the playoffs every single season. It's just hard to see that, especially when DK is paired up with Funky and all of the support that he has around him. I just think that they're going to be a contender. I think it's going to be hard to see them slip down below that. Um, so,
Well, it's not a bad list. Is there anybody that you see at this point that you want to swap, or any orders you want to clarify?
uh, not necessarily right now. I think, in my opinion, I could see the Royals, like you said, dropping down to pretenders, but I do think that both of those teams are basically fighting for that last spot in. Um, and I think that that's going to be kind of the most pivotal matchup you're going to see in the race for the playoffs. Is whether the Dreamboat or the Royals get in there. And you brought up great points about how their schedule shapes out for the rest of the season. I just think it's going to be a fight for that last spot. I think the top five teams are pretty solidified, but I could definitely see maybe the Superstars or Fury dropping down to the dark horse, or maybe even the pretender category.
Yeah, with yeah, that's what I can say at the moment. Is just I don't think that Titans did enough to warrant being above Superstars. I mean, we just watched them play. I think I got to give the Superstars their flowers for that. Is that Golden Blacks went and made their excuse me, Titans went and made their big splashy trade, big flashy trade, and Superstars did not care and beat them anyway. So I'm ready to keep them up here at the top of contenders. I even find it possible that you're going to be staring at them be conference champions after this season, uh, just because of how brutal just the Heat schedule is in comparison. Having to go play even if Dreamboat ends up being a pretender, that's not an easy matchup versus getting like Fallout Boys. It's totally different sides of that conference. So, um, but just with the way that the schedule shakes out, I mean, I'd say the Jazz being the 1 seed just because of ease of schedule. That's the only that's how I would shake it all out.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that happening. Jazz have probably the easiest schedule by far. So
Well, compared to their talent roster. So,
sure.
well, that's our tier list. So that'll kick us down to our final segment, uh, Week 5 pick'ems. I know we've been here for almost an hour now, so I'm sure you're ready to blitz through them as we tend to be at this point in the video or in the broadcast. Excuse me. Uh, but as we kind of kick it down, where do you go in this first one?
Oh man, both of these teams are pretty pivotal win here. Pretty pivotal game. Maybe defining both of their seasons. I mean, I think you look at these lineups and they're very similar, but Fury definitely has the edge with power hitting. And uh, you know, I don't really know that their pitching depth is any different. I do think Dreamboat might have a slightly better defense, but their defense honestly looks the exact same. So it's really just going to come down to which team shows up during the game. I'm not gonna lie. I think I want to be fun here, and I'm not gonna bet against my own favorites. I think I'm gonna take Dreamboat here.
Hey, fair enough. I think you hit the nail on the head about this being a pivotal game. There's another game. Well, there's 2 games here, really. Well, technically 3 games here. Four total games where this will pretty much define what happens for these teams throughout the season. Uh, I think that as far as trajectory goes, this is the most important game for either of them. as we see what happens with this team. I don't think either of them are really going to blow it up after this game. There's another game a little farther down, much farther down, that I could see that happen to the loser of that game. But
Yeah.
I think is deciding whether they're going to be actually up and contending or not, especially with it being a rivalry game for these two teams. I think that it's going to be pivotal, and I think they're both going to bring their all. With that being said, I just like Fury having home field advantage in this one. I think that's just going to give them the edge to be able to dictate where this game gets played, to be able to suit their strengths. And there's so many fields that are available to play on that I think that they're just going to be able to navigate the band pretty to the points where they're going to be able to get a game that they win. So,
yeah. All right. Well, looking down to the next game, Mayhem and Fallout Boys. I'm not gonna lie, this one kind of feels like the Battle of Pelelu from World of Warcraft 2. If any of you historian buffs know about that one. I mean, this is kind of a pointless game. I think ultimately Mayhem is the one that needs to win this game to see some life, and I think Mayhem will end up taking this one. I think that while they're not a great roster, they are better than the Fallout Boys.
I think it is pretty simple myself that I'm going to watch Fallout Boys upset the Mayhem, much to the Fallout Boys sugar. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be Mayhem. If it isn't, again, what I was saying, Fallout Boys are going to be quite disappointed if they somehow find a way to win this game.
Yeah. Well, looking at the next game, pretty interesting game. Slugging Heat and Superstars. The leaders of the league and the slayers of the league, if you will. So which way do you lean in this one?
How do you pick a team? Pick against a team of destiny. They've defeated two teams that are better than them. And I mean, just looking at rosters alone, I mean, they've gotten it done. People are saying that they don't have Mario and Luigi start.
I think I'm going to take the opposite stance. I think I am going to bet against them. I think the odds, you have played your odds and you have come out on top 2 times when you shouldn't have. And I think the third time is gonna be the outcome that that I would say most people would expect from the first 2. I think that Slugging Heat are going to be able to get it done. Personally, the Superstars, I've seen them win on the last 2 games in a last inning error by, I've said it before, error by Green, by Critter, and then a triple play by DK. And that is why they won the last 2 games. So, granted, they played well the entire game, but leaving it up to fate like that in the last inning is just never something you want to keep playing with. And I think Slugging Heat are not going to make the same mistake. But for the league's sake, I want to see the Superstars prove me wrong. I think it would be highly interesting if they won. So I just think that they're not going to be able to get it done against one of the hottest teams in the league right now.
I'm going to say one thing, and you tell me if that changes your opinion. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Fibro starred.
No.
You believe in him still. Okay.
I believe in the pieces around him because Slugging Heat was doing well before they acquired Firebro.
That's not what I asked.
think they're going to be able
That's
to.
not what I asked. Do you believe in Firebro?
I believe in the pieces around Fire.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. All right.
Let's just.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go ahead and put Jazz. Jazz is the winner.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing. Yeah, we got it. All right. Are you gonna bet against them twice? They already. Can you bet against them 2 times in a row?
Are we going to see Golden Box go on a legendary run of selling off and then winning
7 games in a row? No, we're not going to see that.
I think Jazz is going to take this one.
I mean,
especially with the Jazz being at home. Again, I feel like the Jazz have played at home every single week so far.
I know they have a. Oh, well, they got.
Yeah.
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 Well, they've had 3 away games actually, so they're about to have 4 home games in a row. So I'm not thrilled to be a going against the Jazz right now. So
All right. Next game, Coastal Titans and the Royals.
So this is the one that I think is going to the loser of this game is going to initiate the button getting pressed. I think you're going to see a team explode sky high following a loss. I mean, it would be harder to see it with the Royals just because they constructed the roster this way.
Yeah.
However, I think the GM is ready to pull the trigger to get a first round pick if that's on the table. I think they will find a way. They've always seemed to. But if they can find a way to get a third first round pick, I think they will do so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking at the roster up and down, I think this is like you said, a make or break game for both of these teams. Who do you think takes it? Which one do you think has the edge here?
Oh, I'm looking at these stars. Royals have red critter starred. Titans have opted not to star their blue critter, who's their best performing player on this team. I mean, you let Wigla and Yellow Toad, but so your outfield's going to be great, but the Royals could just plan around that and pick a big field or something like, or a small field to just negate the outfield. So I think the Titans are going to slide even farther. I think this is the worst case scenario for the Titans, that the Titans just can't get it done for the 3rd game in a row. And suddenly you're looking at a team that's not a contender, not a dark horse, but a team that's a pretender. And whenever we were talking about this Titans team, they kind of came out of nowhere. And in week 2, we thought that they were going to be the team who's going to win the whole thing.
Yeah. Man, it's going to be tough. I think this game is going to be a little bit back and forth, but I think Coastal Titans is going to get back to their form. I think you have 2 critters and Hammer Bro, all great hitters. I think that one of them is going to pull through and pull this game out for the Titans. And I think that they're getting their outfield prepared for a pretty big game against the Royals. And honestly, starting those 2 players so that they hit better is not the worst case scenario. I think that the Titans are trying a little bit different strategy, and I think that we're going to see it play out for them in this case.
Yes, they need it, because I mentioned all that about the Royals, about selling off. The Titans are very public about being willing to blow it all up. So, and if that is the case, things are going to get real weird in the DSA at that trade deadline. So,
oh yeah, 100%. So,
well, that's our pick'ems. As we head back to the top, any final thoughts? Any final words to our glowing audience as we conclude this mid-season around the Shroom session?
I think week 5 is a pretty pivotal moment. Nonetheless, obviously middle of the season, but pretty pivotal moment for a lot of these teams, and I'm excited to see what each one of them brings to the table. So,
absolutely, I'm in full agreement. I think that we're going to see back-to-back weeks of some of the most exciting baseball in the DSA. So, but with that being said, thank you for watching. This has been Around the Shroom, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you for our visitors, our viewers. Thank you, Nathan, for stepping in the booth with me.
Oh yeah, it's been great. So,
well, with that being said, we will see you next time. And excuse me, sorry, something came over me. I've been Dawson.
And I'm Nathan.
And we will now see you next time.